as men, it's really easy to get, so caught up in the hustle culture to where you're just hustling to hustle. Maybe that's your thing. It's not my thing. It's got to have a purpose. Otherwise, because I've been I felt the exact same way where it's like, man, I'm working really, really hard, but I kind of forgot what I'm working for.
What's going on, everyone? We are back again, the #1 podcast in the world, bringing you information to help you become the #1 version of yourself. Again, my name is Andrew.
I'm Forrest.
And today, what are we talking about, Forrest?
What to do when you fall off. So what do we actually mean by that? So one of our episodes, we talked about setting goals.
Yep.
We went through a little bit, how we personally do that. But we're not perfect. I mean, the whole point of this podcast is to talk about the journey to becoming the best version of yourself.
That's right.
And part of that is, you set goals and sometimes you don't stick to them. So
sometimes you fall off.
Yeah. You need to figure out what to do about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
this was something that was really impactful for me. I was just texting you when I was at the gym this morning because I'm listening to our podcast, episode 2. If you haven't listened to it, please tune in.
When did we film that, by the way?
So I said that I was 9 months sober in the podcast. So
it's like 6 months ago.
It must have been 6 months ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was.
So it was a while ago.
We filmed these so far apart that when we watch it, it's new information.
I'm getting motivated off of myself. I'm in the gym. I'm like, damn, that's a good idea. I gotta write something.
Some smart people. We should subscribe to their channel.
Exactly. Hit the bell notification while you're at it.
Share it with 2 friends.
No, I was in the gym and I'm like, listen to myself, and I'm like, why am I not listening to myself? This is ridiculous. I was just thinking, I felt like I've been in a slump. I've been in a slump with work. First of all, this was the largest month I've ever had in my career, financially speaking. So did I really fall off? Not really, but sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes you feel stagnant even though you're doing well. And I'm like, why is that? Why do I feel this way? And it was really just thinking back. I couldn't put my finger on it for the past couple of weeks. And then it was just today, it hit me like a light bulb. It was like, you haven't been doing your goal setting.
Right. You've just been grinding.
You've just been grinding. And sometimes we get so used to that grind where we're just going and going. And it turns into this cycle of day-to-day rhythm and routine. And then we forget that we need to be progressing. We can't just be doing the same thing all the time over and over again. Right. We need to be progressing. And as men in particular, and I'm not saying that ladies don't feel this way. I'm sure there's plenty of ladies out there that do. I have a lady that feels that way too. We as humans, in order to feel fulfilled, have to be constantly progressing. We need to be growing.
Yeah.
And so I fell off. I fell off of setting my daily goals. At the time we were recording that podcast, I was writing down my goals every single morning. This is what I want to hit today. This is how many calls I need to make. This is how many realtors I need to connect with. These are the different action items I need to take in order to become my best version, in order to hit this certain milestone or reach a certain level. And I have not done that recently. And I have to take responsibility for that and hold myself accountable for that as well.
Yeah. I mean, the journey is basically like this. I'd say, working on yourself is kind of like the financial markets, right? In general, it goes up, but you have the dips.
Yeah.
Buy
the dip, back the truck.
Buy the dips. But it just like the dips in the financial markets, those are the times where you have to do that internal checking and be okay, I haven't been on my shit.
It's true.
Got to get it together and bring it back. I did want to touch a little bit on, because I know you did, I have some of my goals up on the wall back here.
Yeah.
Those are high level goals, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about kind of your daily, especially from the episode that we were referring to, like daily goals. So
yeah, of course.
And I know I haven't been to your new spot, but do you still have your big goals written down somewhere?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I figured that much. So I think one of the things that helps you get back to it is having those big goals in the first place. So those are ever present. So even when I'm slacking and I look up here on the wall and I'm like, man, what's something up here? Take a 2-week vacation. Got that one down. There's some breaking moves up there I want to get. So whenever I'm chilling, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm slacking on the day or I've been slacking for a week, and then I glance up there and I'm kind of helps you hold yourself accountable.
That's true. So, and another thing, not to interject, but I had a mentor. He used to tell me, think about your life in quarters, just like a business does, right? You look at last quarter, you see how you did. You look at, you put projections up for the quarter coming, and then you aim to hit those. And if you think about it like that, we're so day to day. I'm beating myself up because I haven't been on like what I feel is my purposeful grind for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But in reality, when I look at the last quarter, I've made more money in this quarter than I have in the last year put together, you know? So financially speaking, it's been very productive. My business is thriving, but where are the parts that I'm lacking? And I think that's where you got to think about, like, is that where I'm falling off? Because we talk a lot on this podcast about financial goals and, you know, things that are really helping us progress to the next level of ourselves from a business standpoint. But I also want to touch on mental and emotional, because that is so important, because you can be progressing financially and be, you know, on the ground emotionally.
Yeah. That's super true, man. I mean, and I will say, like, I know we're talking about all humans, but definitely as men, like, as men, you know, it's really easy to get, you know, so caught up in the hustle culture to where you're just hustling to hustle.
It's true.
And maybe that's your thing. It's not my thing. And
it's gotta have some purpose behind it.
Yeah, like it's gotta have a purpose. Otherwise, you know, because I've been in I felt the exact same way, where it's like, man, I'm working really, really hard, but I kind of forgot what I'm working for. And it's really easy almost to like pendulum back, where it's like, I remember there's a phase, I can't remember exactly what it was, some project that wore me out, and I was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Then I was like, hold on, Forrest, like, yeah, you do. You're just kind of like, you're burnt out now, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
But that's what happens when you lose that perspective, is you start to, you know, like, oh, I got to do something entirely different now, right? Like, I'm gonna stop doing sales because I'm just burnt out. And it's like, what? You love sales, like, you know, it's
and
like,
you're good at it.
Yeah, and I'm good at it, but it's like, oh yeah, I forgot, like, I lost my focus, and that's why I feel this way. So what would you say is like, I'm gonna leave people kind of with, like, you know, actionable tips. It's like, what should someone do when they're feeling that burnout, or they're feeling like they're not on their grind, like, you know, what do you think is like the first step someone should take?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's funny, my mother actually sent me something this morning. It was a podcast by Kyle Cease. Kyle Cease, incredible mindset, you know, motivation guru of kind, you know. This guy is just unreal. And one of the things that he mentioned this morning was, okay, imagine that you were sick and you had the flu. Your body is physically sick and you have the flu.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, I just want to get better already. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to take a boxing class. I'm going to go do something to distract myself so I don't realize that my body's sick.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to, maybe I'll go for a jog. And then when I get back, I'm like, I've been coughing, wheezing. I'm sick as a dog. And then I tell you, bro, I'm trying everything to stop being sick. I've gone running. I've done this. And what are you going to tell me?
Man, it ain't going to work. I mean, you got
to rest.
Yeah.
You got to rest. You got to give yourself nutrients. You have to, like, dude, I call, like, let's say I still worked for, you know, a boss somewhere. I call my boss and say, I can't come in because I have the flu. Like, I can't be around other people. I'm going to contaminate other people.
Yeah.
But we don't do this with our mind. We don't do this with our heart. We don't do this when we're emotionally drained, when we're drained from our business. Yeah, we don't take the time to say, hey, guys, I can't work because I need to take a couple of days to, like, be by myself, reflect, and get back on my goals. You know, that's something that we don't do. We do it for our bodies, but we don't do it for our mind. We don't do it for our spirit. And that was a huge wake-up call for me today, where I said, you know what? I just need to maybe take a couple of days off to just sit by myself, not around a bunch of people, not on Instagram being distracted, but really by myself and feel, what are these emotions that are coming up? Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
And are they in alignment with my goals? And if not, what direction? Because you know what to do innately.
Yeah.
What direction is my spirit telling me to move, or to stay, or to just not do anything, right? In order to get me to where I need to be. Because I could be feeling sick because maybe there's a certain aspect of my life that's not on course with my ultimate goal.
You're saying all that, and I just thought of something I really want to talk about, but it's got to be another episode.
Yeah.
But I think that's the word.
You got to write it down.
I think that's the word for this one. I am right now. And the whole idea is, you know, how much effort, you know, do you put into solving your own problems versus other problems, right?
Yeah.
You know, the stuff that's in your control. But I think we could, I know we could talk.
Put a whole episode together on that.
About that. But we're trying to keep these a little bit shorter, so I'm not going to draw this out. I mean, the only thing that I would add to that is really just reiterating the point. Like, you have to treat, you know, if you're in a slump, like you would, like, something that needs to be solved, right? And not just something that, like, you hope will go away, right? Like, when you're when you're actually sick, for example, like there's, you know, you got to hydrate yourself. You need to actually like rest. You know, there's things that you should do if you actually want to feel better. And it's the same way when, you know, you're in a slump in your life.
Yeah,
so
if you're in a slump and you're burnt out, take the time to rest, just like you would your body if you had a physical ailment. And I think that's the point we need to drive home. If you were sick, you would take the time to rest. Yeah. If your mind is sick, if you're overworked, if you're stressed out, if your heart is broken, any of these ailments that are happening to you, you need to take the time to rest, be by yourself, understand where it's coming from, and understand what actions you need to take after you've rested and you're rejuvenated and you feel revived and revitalized in order to get you to the next point. And this is something that I am preaching to myself right now.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because, you know, we do this and we talk to people about things that we're currently experiencing, but at the end of the day, we're really just preaching to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
this entire podcast is just therapy for us and our life problems. No, but I mean, that's true, man. I mean, it's that's really why we're doing this, right? Yeah. It's you know, I think
we're trying to become the number one version of ourselves.
Yeah, you know, through this and, you know, working with other people and just sharing our thoughts, you know, with you all, and understanding that we're not perfect. You know, we got all this effort that we put into this, but we're regular folks, you know, and I think especially for, you know, the other young men out there, you know, I think how we feel will resonate with a lot of people and, you know, women as well. But yeah, man, I think that's it. I mean, I'll call it a wrap on this one.
No, this is a good one.
Work on yourself, focus on yourself. Do not, you know, let your problems fester. If for some reason you haven't subscribed to our channel, that's really messed up. You should probably go ahead and hit that button.
That's right.
Share this out with some people. Leave a comment. You know, I'm curious on how you deal with this in your own life. And certainly, if you want to join us on our podcast, reach out to us. You know, you can hit us up on Instagram. My Instagram is Forrest the Investor.
Mine is Drew's the Move.
And we will be in touch.
That's right. We appreciate y'all.
Cool.
Out.
Wrap.